everyone, and welcome to Photoplay's YouTube channel, and welcome back to Tuesdays with Tina. Well, I have two fun projects to share with you. We're using the Photoplay Paper Sweet as Honey 2 collection pack. There's a lot of fun images in here, bumblebees and sunflowers, and we're going to be using stickers and pattern papers from the 12 by 12 collection. I'm also going to be using some of the Epoxy Dies Paper that coordinates. I love that you can create buttons with the epoxy shapes. So I'm gonna show you how you can make a button that coordinates with your pattern paper. It's very easy to do with the epoxy shapes. You will need the epoxy shapes with the die set because this die here has the two holes in it and it lines up perfectly with the epoxy shapes here. Okay, so we'll be using this along with the Epoxy Dies Paper for Sweet as Honey. And then I'm also going to be bringing in the Nested Keyplate Die Set. I just love the shapes of these key plates, and so we're going to be using this on both of our cards today. So let's go ahead and jump in. We're going to pick out some pattern papers and we'll get started. I picked out 3 sheets of pattern paper. The first one, we're not going to use the patterns up here. We're just going to be using this panel here. So I'm going to trim this out. Actually, we can do this right now. I'm just going to trim this away. And we'll be using this on one of our cards today. And then the other 2 pattern papers that we're going to be using are the honeycomb bees. We're going to use the gingham on the back, the honeycomb bees on the front, and then I'm also going to be using the bee's knees pattern paper. The back side has a real pretty wood grain print, but we're just going to be using this here. So those are the papers we're going to be using on our cards today. Okay, I have a 1.5 inch tall piece of this paper by 4 inches. What we're going to do is we're going to layer it on the bottom of this piece here. So I'm just going to use my tape runner for this. And I'm going to tack it down. I did leave the index part of this on this cutout, okay? This just gives me a little extra room. And we're going to line this up here. And then I have some of the black and white gingham paper. The reverse side is this piece here. I'm going to add this over the seam. This is where our nested key plates are going to come in. I'm going to take the second from the largest and I'm going to die cut out a panel here. So I'm just going to take a couple pieces of low tack tape and we will tack this down. Now, before I run this through my die cut machine, I'm also going to take my Epoxy Dies Paper and we're going to pick out a button. We're going to die cut out a button with this piece here. So let me go ahead and trim this out. Okay, and then we'll line up our button right over the top. I'm going to tack this down too so it doesn't shift. Okay, and then I'm going to run both of these through my die cut machine and I'll be right back. And how fun is this? That I think is going to make a pretty button. Okay, and then we have our key plate panel. Isn't that such a pretty pattern? I just love this. Now I'm going to go ahead and take one of my buttons and we're just going to line this up. Give it a good press and the holes line up perfectly. And then we have a custom button for our card. How fun is this? I'm going to use some white twine and we're going to go ahead and thread our button. And I love that the holes in here are big. How fun is this? Okay, now I'm going to take some twine and I'm going to add it over my seam here. And so I'm just going to use some adhesive on the left and the right. And then I'm just going to tack it down on the back. And we'll wrap it around. This is going to help keep it in place. So now we have a little texture on our panel here. Now I have my card base This is a side folding card base. This is from Say It With Stamps. They have some great A2 size card bases. What I did was emboss a card front panel with some polka dots, and I placed it over the top. So now we have a little more texture in our background. Now I'm going to take my panel and glue it directly on the front of my embossed card base. I'm actually going to take my tape runner and go over that twine to help secure it even more. And we'll place this right in the middle. Wonderful. And then I'm going to use a glue dot, and I'm going to secure my button right here. And it doesn't have much dimension. And actually, these buttons have less dimension than a regular button, which is really nice. Okay, so that is our epoxy button. Now we're going to bring in our sticker sheet. And the stickers we're going to use for this card, I thought we would use You're So Sweet. And we're going to use You're So Sweet. And let's see. And I'm also, I don't want to make a welcome card, I want to make a thank you card. So we're going to switch out that for this sticker here. I'm going to add foam tape on the reverse side of both of these. And we're going to do a little layering with this sticker. Putting it right in the center, making sure my greeting is centered. Now for this arch, at the very bottom I only put one layer of foam tape. At the very top of the arch I put 2 layers. I did this because I want this to be one level higher, right above my thank you. And when I did this, everything's going to be nice and flush and even. But we have that extra dimension there. For finishing touches, I'm going to bring in some glitter, and I'm going to go over my little bumblebee's wings and sparkle them up. I also put a little bit of sparkle on the sunflower centers too. And that finishes off my first card. Now we're going to jump in to card number 2. For this card, I have a panel that measures 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And we're going to adhere this directly over my card front, which I did another embossed panel. So we have some embossed polka dots on here. I'm just going to use my tape runner. Once we have this adhered, I have a 3/4 inch strip of the black and white gingham paper. I'm going to fishtail the bottom. You know, I love to do this. I'm going to fishtail the bottom. And then I also have a 1 1/4 inch strip of white cardstock. I'm going to fishtail this too. And then I'm going to layer both of these together. Okay, we're going to flip this over, and then I'm going to add this to my card here. I created 3 panels with my Nested Keyplate die, and one of them is vellum, one of them is white cardstock, and one of them is the reverse side of the gingham paper. We're going to layer all 3 of these together. And then I'm going to tack this down in the middle of my card. Okay, we have this cute little sticker with a little bumblebee on it. I'm going to place this around the circle down here on the bottom. It's so cute. He's holding little daisies. Okay, and then I have some sunflowers that I popped up with foam tape only on the top. What we're going to do is a little tucking here. Okay, now for my greeting, I popped it up with foam tape also. And what we're going to do is follow the arch of this little sticker here with Have a Sweet Day. And that's all there is to this card. What we're going to do is bring in some more of that glitter, and I'm going to add a little sparkle to my bumblebee's wings here, and also the one here in the background and the flower centers. We'll add some, and that will finish off card number 2. So let's take a look at both cards that we made today. Fun little bumblebee cards using the Photoplay Paper Sweet as Honey 2 collection pack. Now I'll be back next week using the Photoplay Paper Sweet as Honey 2 stamp set. Such a fun stamp set. So keep a lookout for that video next week. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.